All right, hey guys. So I'm gonna start off explaining my week with Robinhood. So this time, let's do this right here. So here, my account, I recovered from my pretty big loss. I had two trades on Robinhood. I was up. Let's see, where's my? It's not showing my weekly here for some reason. Let me just refresh it. Yeah, for some reason, not really showing my weekly, but if you look in the monthly right here, I was up about 25% from my account, and then what had a pretty big loss because I was holding a stock. I was playing a stock, but I held it for too long. I kind of forgot about it and ended up losing way more than I wanted to. And I also did the same thing when I swung. I think I swung a name, or no, actually I didn't swing. I actually played. Let's see. Let's go to my messages here. I traded. I think it was CLPS today. I got in CLPS at 397, sold the rest, unfortunately, at like 420s, I think. I meant to sell five, but I think it was an extended hours order, so it didn't work out. Yeah, I almost forgot about it too. I was like, oh no, I need to get out, But I was waiting for a bounce on CLPS. It never came back up. It just went straight down. So unfortunately, I could have made almost everything back if I just had sold and was more, uh, I guess, more attentive to my Robinhood account. But still, all in all, I'm still up pretty good. It's decent. I started with only 1,000. Now I'm, about 13%, which is honestly, for 3 weeks, is actually kind of bad. For the month, I should at least double my account, at least. But, who knows? So that's my Robinhood right there. Uh, I took two trades, which is ADMP. I lost, and second is CLPS. All right, now let's get back to what I traded today. So this week it's a good week. I'm not gonna lie, it's good. I made about just under 115, 115K this week. It should have been much more. I was kind of really kind of disappointed in my performance a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday. I was yesterday there was a play ADTX, and this was the only stock I was watching in the morning yesterday. If you guys look here, this is the pre-market. So it had spiked and kind of consolidated, channeled between 290 to 310s right here during the entire time. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just did like a recap on OBLN, and it looks almost the same, right? Pre-market. So if you go back to OBLN when it ran, actually no, it was not OBLN. It was hold on, what was it? Uh, okay, maybe it was OBLN. Yeah, I guess it was OBLN somewhat. If you guys look here in the pre-market, it didn't look exactly like OBLN, like ADTX. But if you guys look over here where it kind of went up, dipped, consolidated, channeled from 270s, mid 270s to about 310s. It was holding these levels for a little bit, and then eventually it came right back up. So with ADTX in the morning, it had something very similar to that pattern. It goes up, consolidates, channels between $3, and it just continues to go up. So I really missed this one. I was hoping for like a dip at 3 at open, but it never gave me that dip. It just went, it spiked right away to 325. It did dip towards like 310s, 315s, and I was thinking about adding here, and I'm like, okay, if I add here, maybe I could just risk maybe 305, or maybe I'll just add more $3. But in this case, I wanted it to dip at 3. Unfortunately, I did not get that, and well, maybe my last chance was 325 ads, but never got that chance. It just went off without me. It just continued to go and go. Now maybe I could have played this right here, when it's supported for $1 and go for 450 break. But in this case, I never like chasing, and you never know what happens. So I just let it go. And if I was at this point when it went to like 7 or 6, I was really like emotional. I was like, wow, I'm really really like disappointed in myself. I let this play go just for 10 cents, just for a 10-cent dip. And I was thinking about buying these dips, and I'm like, okay, if it does something like OBLN, maybe it go to 6 and 7. But you know what? It's overextended. It's way overextended. Why am I playing here when I could have played here? I don't want to risk myself to be on the backside of the trade. So I just let it go, like always. Like, you know what? I'm gonna forget this. I'm gonna forget ADTX. I'm not gonna look at it again. I'm gonna forget it and move on and look for the next play. And I still ended up around just over 20 grand, 22 grand that day. Um, I think I traded one stock and I took a loss on it. I was down maybe about a couple $100. But then I came back up, just looked for just solid plays, easy patterns, and somehow I was up 22 grand. But for this play, I really missed, and my plan was okay. I had my like whole analysis prepped. I'm like, okay, this thing has a great chart. It looks similar to OBLN and has potential, has great news, but never played it. I would have made like over 50 grand on this thing. Just never. I was really disappointed. So next, after ADTX, what moved today? Let's see. I did a report on. Oh, I didn't do my recap yet, I guess. All right, let's look at today's biggest runners. So I know that a lot of energy names ran today, like PPSI, Pola, OPTT, APWC. This is a big one. APWC. This ran simply. I mean, just looking at the daily right here, guys. When this thing goes over like 480s, I mean, this thing can definitely go to 5 easily and even higher. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of shorts got burnt on APWC, and this is what exactly happened. It busted through 5, and it just kept pushing and pushing. This thing halted twice, so I also missed this one. I was looking at APWC in the 450s right here, actually, in the lower 450s, and I was like, this thing's way too light, This thing's way too light, and it's just kind of gradually going. But then it keeps going and going. I'm like, wow. Well, at this point, I'm pretty much too late, and I don't want to chase because the volume is pretty low. It's pretty consistent though. The volume's consistent, but it's just kind of low. Volume really started to perk up in the 6s and 7s, but still, I just didn't want to risk myself in a halt up or down. So I just let it go. I'm like, okay, that's another play that's going that I missed. So I continue to look for other plays, so like OPTT. This one I was actually watching in the 450s too as well, and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of similar in the same price range like APWC. I played here, but it looked like it was kind of getting weak. So I sold when it broke down. I'm like, okay, I can always re-enter. So when this thing popped up again and broke over 50s, I'm like, okay, this thing has a nice pattern now. So I started adding on the dip. I'm just like, okay, when this dips, I'm gonna start adding, and it just went up. I went to 475. I didn't sell any. I think I sold the rest here in 480s, I think, and this thing continued to go. So I'm like, okay, OPTT, that's done. It hit 5. Yes, it can go higher. But what else is there? What other energy names are there? So another one was OEG. And I'm like, okay, same thing here. Pattern, higher lows. Um, my first ads were in the four, yeah, I think it was here actually. Right here. I think I added here earlier, but I don't remember exactly. But I knew I added here. So I added in the 446s. So just under 450. And I let this thing go. Yes, I could have sold some here. But then it dipped, and I'm like, okay, I was kind of getting worried. But I was like, the trend with PPSI and OPTT and Pola, they kept going high. They kept pushing to new highs. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give OEG a chance here. Yes, it'll pull back. Yes, it'll look weak. It hit both times just under my average of 446. I was up around about 6K when it was 7K when it was up in the 470s, but it went all the way back down. So I was almost pretty much break even. But I stuck to my gut. I stuck to my plan. I'm like, okay, this thing has nice. I love this chart, daily chart. I think this thing definitely can see $5. So I continued to hold, and it came right back up. I knew there were dip buyers here. When I saw this, if you guys look, where it pushed, if you guys look at the 5 minute, it pushed up. It had a pretty decent pullback. It pushed up, and I'm like, okay, maybe this could be another decent pullback. And it's going to repeat itself. So after this pretty decent pullback, it's going to push right back up. And that's exactly what happened. Um, and it went straight to 5. I sold the rest of $5. I sold just a little bit. I think I sold most of it in the 490s. And sold the rest at 5. And that was it. And that was another a pretty good winner. I had to be more patient on this play, but it was worth it. Um, and that was it. That was pretty much it. Besides ADTX yesterday, but today was pretty solid. I was being patient and not being emotional, despite yesterday's disappointing day. So there are opportunities every day. I clearly missed a very easy opportunity at ADTX yesterday, but you live and you learn. There, I still have 11 months ahead of me, so no rush. All right, so let's look at your questions. I always prefer margin because it will help force myself to discipline, my trades, and definitely look for the best setups possible. With cash accounts, yes, you can trade more or you have a little bit more flexibility, but with more flexibility, you might be more keen to over trading. Um, you know, being less disciplined. So I always prefer margin because you strictly have to follow 3 day trades. Well, you only have 3 day trades for per 5 business days. So when you use one, you used it. So I feel like margin is always best for me or for people because it forces them to discipline themselves. So I always recommend margin. Yeah, so an 80 MP, that's perfect. And honestly, you literally played it almost perfectly. Or how would I, how I would have taken the play. So let's look on 80 MP and on your trade today. When was this? Okay, so you had gotten in around 118, 117 ish, and you perfectly, you saw this thing go up a little bit, pulled back, and you followed your plan. You didn't panic or panic sell when it first dipped on, when it's having its first legs. You want the legs to walk. You don't want to give up on the legs too early. Let them walk. See where it goes, and when you feel confident where the legs, the new legs goes, then you can be more patient. So with Joe's X's, they're pretty much you know pretty good. Very very good. He's still in the what 140s. He's just under 140. So yeah, just under 140 is pretty good. That's a good. Let's see, percentage wise, like 120s to yeah, that's almost 10%. I mean, that's pretty good. Almost 10% or 10% even. That's very good. And if you keep doing that over and over again, and when you feel more patient enough, then that 10% will increase, and increase your patience, and increasing your reward too. But that's very good actually. That is very good. I would have done the same thing. Maybe I would be a little bit more patient and waited till 150, but because it's a round whole number, because there are a lot of scalpers on this. And when small caps are very hot during these times, there's gonna be a lot of scalpers. And people they're gonna the scalpers target's gonna be 150. That's a half dollar, right? A whole half dollar. So they're gonna be scalping this for 150 break and possibly maybe scalp a couple more cents above 150. So, but I always look for half whole dollar price targets first, and I ask myself, can it really break or can it not? So, but honestly, those are pretty good scales. Honestly, so yeah, very good trade. For a day trade, I would have probably, yeah, I can scale in however much I want to. Like I can do three separate buys and then sell the rest at a certain price level or scale out. But yeah, that's a very good trade in general. Let's see. Why do you think energy stocks are running? Well, I knew they were running because I saw multiple names, multiple names, like PPSI. This one just kept grinding. It was holding throughout the day and just continued to push new highs. Pola, another one. I mean, if you guys look at the daily, I mean, it's just been running for the past week. It just continues to push and push. OPTT, another one. I actually played OPTT yesterday too, a little bit, and then played it again here. Also APWC. This one I unfortunately missed, but yeah. So just simply seeing a bunch of names going off together, like if I see multiple names that are in the same sector moving, there's a pretty clear indication that that sector is pretty much running. So energy names. And over time, when you trade stocks, you kind of develop a memory for these names. When you hear APWC on the scanner, or if you see it on your watch list, you can pretty much know, oh, that's a low flow energy name. Okay, whenever something energy goes up a lot, 50, 100%, then you know what to play next. Uh, I started to realize things when I told myself, well, so here's a small story. I don't know if you guys know, but I used to work for a hotel and casino, and I was doing stocks. I was at the same point as you guys. I was just using Robinhood, and I was under PDT. I think my account was probably at around 2, 3 grand after I grew it just a little bit. And when I was working night shifts too. Night shifts only. So I would trade stocks or look at the markets in the morning from 8 to 3 p.m. And I would have maybe like a small lunch from 3 to 4 or 3 to 3:30, and then I have to go to work at 4, right? And I work from 4 p.m. to all the way to 12 a.m. or 11 to 12 a.m. at night. So basically, that's 80 hours a week almost right there, doing that almost every single day. You know, Trading in the morning is kind of like I guess, my side hustle, and eat lunch for an hour, take a break, I guess, or something, and go right back to work at my hotel and casino. Um, and I still remember those days where my accounts was just like around 2, 3 grand. Steadily, I grew it from 3 to 4, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay, wow, it's starting to really work, And I think before that, before things started to click, I told myself, I was deciding between quitting, like to quit trading, or just go to the military. I'm like, you know what? I'm done trading. I can't do this no more. But then I keep telling myself, you put so much time, you put almost 2 years into it, studying, and nothing's going on. Why? Why is nothing working? So I told myself, am I really trying my best? Am I really putting the dedication into this thing? And I told myself, no. I said no, I'm not. I don't think, even though I might seem like I'm putting the work, dedication, I actually wasn't. So I told myself, you know what? I'm for real going to do this, take this seriously. I'm going to give it my all, my 100%. There's no backup. I'm going to give this my all. And a day later, I just had my first winner. Like, I think it was $70. I'm like, okay, pretty good, pretty good. And then second day, or my second trade, there was another green one, and then another green one after that. So week after week, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just lucky, maybe the market is just hot. It just kept, I just kept having these consistent winners, and I thought I was lucky for a second, but I actually wasn't. I really put the time and dedication, um, and that's when things clicked. When I almost quit, that was when things started to click. So I'm not saying it will work for you guys. Like, everyone's not gonna. I mean, just because you're gonna quit doesn't mean it's gonna click for you. It's just at that time for me, that's what clicked for me. Just speaking to myself, like for real. Like kind of like smacking myself and say, hey, are you really doing it? Like, are you really trying your best? Are you really giving it more than 100%? And I said no. So I put myself back to work and dedicated just to stocks, dedicated just to trading. Um. Oh yeah. Unmute you guys. Okay. Let's see. Hey guys. Uh, yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's my little story right there. Yes. Yeah, daily charts is very very important. You can kind of see where. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know. You see where or how much potential stock can go. So, or see its support or daily levels. Stuff like that is very very important. Shorts are definitely looking at that. They're gonna like where can I short? They want to look at certain resistance levels, and you kind of tell yourself, oh, why is it heavy here? Well, maybe on the daily, there's a lot of resistance at around that certain level, and shorts are looking to short there, and that's why it's a bit more heavy there. So, yeah. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, annual review was I was thinking about swinging it yesterday, but I was kind of busy doing something, so I'm like, just let me leave it alone. But it did look good on the daily chart. If you look on the 200 or on the daily and the 200 EMA, 200 EMA is this white line right here. It was closing above that, and that's a pretty good indication that this thing will most likely gap up. And this thing gapped up actually. Uh, not really that much, but like I guess a couple 20 cents here and there, and maybe another 20, 10, 20 cents more higher in the morning. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Easy play. So yeah. All right. I'm not gonna end the stream. I want to keep talking to you guys. I'm just gonna close out. So I'm gonna just stop recording right now.